welcome back. Welcome to
Stitch 7.
Oh, very good, Peyton. Very good.
This is the Knitters.
No, sorry.
Knitters Got a Knit podcast. I'm Carrie, and I'm a Knitfomaniac on Ravelry and just Knitfomaniac on Instagram. And we have a special guest with us today.
Hi,
Tell them your name.
I'm Peyton.
This is my granddaughter. I'm Darlene. Bags by Awesome Granny on Instagram and Awesome Granny in Ravelry. This is my granddaughter Peyton that I talk about all the time. So she wanted to join us for a podcast, and we thought we would let her come on so that y'all could put a face with the person that I talk about probably the most of my family is this one right here. So
I'm the most special one.
Oh, yeah. This is Peyton. Peyton, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
I'm in gardening club at school. I'm also in music club, and I feel like I'm really good at shooting my bow.
Yep, she likes to go. Her stepdad had got her a bow last year for Christmas, and I think he's going to take her deer hunting with her bow this year.
I think so.
And Tim, I sent Carrie some pictures of Peyton and shooting her bow, so Carrie could put them in the podcast.
Yeah, I'll insert some here.
How old are you, Peyton?
9.
And what grade are you in?
4th.
4th. And what do you like to do besides gardening and hanging out with your mother? And tell them about what you're feeding.
I have 4 baby squirrels.
What, 3?
3,
died.
yeah. I originally had 4, but I have 3 baby squirrels. They're super cute though.
But so my daughter runs a campground in New Braunfels, and a fisherman or somebody found these baby squirrels in a canoe, and he brought them up to Shiloh's store and told Shiloh to take them or he was going to throw them away or whatever. And they were little babies; they didn't have their eyes open yet, and if the guy would have just left them alone, I'm sure Mama would have came back and got them. But after he disturbed them and stuff, I don't think would have been any way to find the mother. So Shiloh and Peyton and Tim and Trenton have been bottle feeding these with an eyedropper, and they have their eyes open now, and they have graduated from a box to a bird cage because they crawl out of the box now, so they have to be in a bird cage. But they still bottle feed them every 4 hours now instead of every 2 hours. And Shiloh was saying that yesterday she was in Castroville with her husband, and she has to take these squirrels everywhere with her. And she was holding one of them, I think his name was JoJo. And one of Tim's friends went to pet JoJo, and JoJo ran up Shiloh's arm and down her shirt and hid in her bra. And Shiloh was like, "Man, have you ever tried to get a squirrel out of your bra? That's an interesting thing to do."
She sent me that text too.
Did she? The Harold scared the little squirrel to death. He just ran and hid in her bra. So I thought that was pretty funny.
That is pretty funny.
So that's been the adventure around the Jeffers household is baby squirrels. And so now Shiloh has what's that thing at Trenton's?
Chinchilla.
A chinchilla, a turtle,
Mine.
a gecko that lives with the turtle,
Also mine.
and 3 dogs, and now 3 squirrels. And what do I say? I said about Shiloh's house being a zoo, which is why Susie has to stay with you next year when we go on vacation. So
yeah, it is a bona fide zoo.
It is a bona fide zoo.
It's a fun zoo, but it's a zoo.
It exhausts me thinking about it.
Oh my gosh, it does me too. And when Shiloh first got the squirrels, or Peyton first got the squirrels, she was having to feed them 4 of them every 2 hours. So she was getting up in the middle of the night and feeding these squirrels there, and she takes them to work with her, and she takes them to Castroville with her, and she takes them everywhere because she don't know when she's going to be home. And it's like,
okay, I am an animal lover. I'm just not sure that I would do that for squirrels.
I agree. I don't know that I would either.
I don't know how to word it any other way,
if Peyton wouldn't have been there, and when the man brought them in, I don't know what Shiloh would have done with them. If Peyton wouldn't have been there, Shiloh might have not taken them on. I don't know. She probably would have because she's a little crazy, but I would not have.
The only
I don't think I
reason
would have either.
the only reason she took them on is because one, I kept on begging and wouldn't stop, and then my spoiled stepfather, he texts my mom and he goes, "Can we keep one?" And my mom goes, and she texts him back, and she says, "Wow, you're as bad as your daughter."
Yeah. So anyway, how was your? Thank you for joining us, Peyton.
Yes, thank you.
How was your week?
My week was pretty good. Well, my previous week, it's been about 2.5 weeks since we've podcasted, and I think we said we're going to be about 2.5 weeks, but I went out of town with Jaime. We went to New Mexico. We looked at some retirement property in Cloudcroft, and we're not retiring yet, but, just planning for the future. Jaime's about 10 years older than I am, so he's going to be ready to retire sooner than I'm ready to retire, but quite honestly, I'm ready to retire now. I just financially can't do that.
I hear you.
So we looked at some beautiful property in Cloudcroft, but the main reason we went there was for this car show. And I really felt bad for Jaime because the car show was kind of a bust. We actually ended up not going. We drove by a couple of times to see how it was doing that day to see if, we should go, but we ended up just driving towards home sooner than we thought we would. Jaime thinks it's because of the weather. Right before we got to New Mexico, there was a really bad storm there. And, it's a car show, so a lot of these are, antique, hot rod, older and, men's babies, not everybody has a closed trailer to take their car to this car show, and there were really bad storms, and I guess they were afraid with, an open trailer, with their car on an open trailer, maybe they'd get ruined or whatever. When we were driving around, we could still see areas that were really flooded, so I know the storm had to have been pretty bad, but we had a great time, and we did a little bit of the tourist thing. I have maybe one picture or so that I can probably insert here. Of us hanging out, and then came back, and I took some time off of work, and then I went back to work for one day, Tuesday after the holiday, and then Wednesday Paige's furniture was being delivered, so I went to Paige's house, but I woke up feeling not good. Not terrible, but not good. I was just weak, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And it turns out that later I figured out what was wrong with me. I had a stomach bug, and I ended up sleeping almost all day Wednesday after the furniture was delivered. I came home and I went to sleep, and then slept all night, and then Thursday I slept a little bit in the morning. I had fever and chills, and then my fever finally broke. And so I'm feeling way better now.
I'm so glad.
But, so I had one great week and, one not so good couple of days, but you would think that would make for lots of knitting time, but it really doesn't.
Not when you're sick.
When you're not feeling well, you just really don't want to do anything. So.
And my week was pretty uneventful. I mean, just working and, home stuff. But the other...
One event.
Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to die, y'all. I mean, seriously.
I was pretty worried she was going to die too.
I was fixing my lunch, or trying to fix my lunch to go to work was it like Wednesday or Thursday?
It was Wednesday because I was not feeling well.
Yeah, that's right. It was Wednesday. I stuck my hand in my knife drawer, and I was reaching for. I point all of my knives, and this is because of Bruce, because he has been on me for 37 years to point your knives in one direction. So all the knives point forward in my knife drawer. Well, I stuck my hand in my knife drawer toward the front to get this little knife. I really don't know what I was reaching for, but I stuck my hand in the knife drawer, and then I pulled my hand back, and at the same time I kind of bumped the drawer a little bit closed with my body and jammed the tip of the sharpest knife I own into my finger. The cut isn't that bad. I mean, it's not that big, but I think it must have went like really deep into my finger, because I jabbed it in. I pulled my hand back like this, and so that knife went in like that. And I was like crying, and well, not really crying, but almost crying. And
I would have been crying,
bleeding all over the place. And Bruce was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "Well, I cut my finger, and I think there's blood in the knife drawer." And he went in the kitchen and he got the blood out of the knife drawer, and and he finished cutting up my strawberries, and then he bandaged my finger and was like, it's too far from your heart to kill you. You'll be fine. And so...
In the York family, that expression goes everywhere. Unless you're actually needing to go to a hospital or dying, they always say that.
So, that's true. And so I finished getting ready for work, and I looked like I was flipping everybody off because it's this finger. And by the time I got to work, the bandage that Bruce had put on it was completely soaked with blood. So I stopped by the clinic. We have a clinic at work. I stopped by there. They changed the bandage, and then I had to go back down about an hour. I was sitting at a conference room table with Craig Clark. He's helping me with my computer, and all of a sudden I had blood all over the table. And Craig was like, "I know you're having computer problems, but that don't mean you got to go slit your wrist." You know what I mean? I'm like bleeding everywhere. So I went back down to the clinic. They changed the bandage again, and then I went to lunch. And Barbara knitting, and Carrie wasn't there. It was just me and Barbara and Susie, and it was soaking through the bandage again. And so I went to my desk, got some Band-Aids, and Barbara was trying to help me re-bandage it, and she was like, "Man, Carrie, I thought she was going to bleed out here while we were bandaging it." I mean, that cut bled. I probably changed the bandage 5 times that day, and it bled for 12 hours. And when I got home, Bruce had gone and got some little butterfly strips, and he really closed it shut good and then bandaged it good. And it finally, the next morning, had quit bleeding. I told Bruce, "I'm going to bleed to death in my finger." That's just all there is to it.
Hemorrhage out of my finger.
But it hurt so bad. And the end of my finger, if I didn't have this on, you could tell that my finger from here to here is kind of purple. And the tip of my finger's numb. I can't feel the tip of my finger.
Wow.
So,
I wonder if you'll get feeling back.
I don't know. I hope so.
I hope so too.
But
I want it on the record. I told her to go to the doctor and get stitches. I told her multiple times to go to the doctor and get stitches.
She did. And I was like, "Carrie, I cannot go to the doctor and say I cut my finger." I mean, that just...
It's more than just a cut when it bleeds for 12 hours.
Yeah, it did.
It really is.
And I think it did. I mean, but if you saw the cut, if you saw it, you would be going, "Wow, she's a wuss." Because, I mean, it's not very big, but it's kind of jagged.
I wouldn't be saying that because I'm a big baby, and I know I'm a big baby, and I'm fine with it.
The worst part of it was I couldn't knit for like 3 days because you really use this, or maybe, I'm a thrower. And so I really use this finger in my knitting. And I tried knitting continental, and I can knit continental. I can't purl continental. So I crocheted. At least, thank goodness, I know enough about crochet that I can keep my hands busy for a little while.
Sure.
But that was about the most adventurous. And now that I tell Bruce, I can't cook. I have an owie.
I want to know how that went over.
Well, he was like, I know, okay, I'll cook, he was like, because, you have a contusion, and your whole arm might fall off, so, I'll
How long
cook.
did that last?
A couple of days.
As long as you can milk it for a couple of days.
Yeah, I milked it for a couple of days, but now I have to cook the rest of the weekend, and, so that kind of comes back to bite you, but, so that was my week. I mean, it really did hurt. I mean, and we were watching some show where this guy got stabbed in the back last night, and then he was like, pulled the knife out and was like running to kill the person that just stabbed him. And I told Bruce, I said, he's tough because I stabbed my finger and I couldn't hardly walk across the kitchen, much less go chase down somebody that just stabbed me in the back. But it did really hurt, and I guess I'm a little bit of a baby, but it really did hurt.
That's all right. You're allowed to be a baby.
Well, thank you.
You're allowed to be a baby.
So that was the exciting part of my week. So
yeah, well, I guess let's talk a little bit of knitting. I have a giveaway. So we posted last podcast that we were giving away this skein of yarn along with BAP, Big Ass Pen from Naughty Knitwits. There will be no zooming into the camera today. Along with this giveaway, we asked you to write in the thread what we can do better and what we can do worse. And so many of you guys, thank you so much for all your input, and so many of you just saying, do exactly what you're doing. We love you the way you are. So thank you very much. But with Peyton coming today, I kind of rearranged the yarn room. I've got the yarn that used to be where the camera is right now is behind us, so we could put the camera a little bit farther away from us to get 3 people in, because in this room where the camera used to be, I don't think we could have gotten all 3 of us in here. So with that, the camera is too far away. We have like a table right in front of us before the camera, and I just can't get up there to zoom. So for our whips and our finished items or whatever, I'm going to try and insert pictures for all of them as we're talking about them. And if anybody knows how to edit on an iPad, not on a Mac, but on an iPad, how to edit it where the picture like shows up right here, or right here, or I can insert the picture while we're still talking, because the only way I know how to insert a picture on the iPad is it stops talking, picture shows for however many seconds, and then the audio continues. And I haven't figured out how to do it the other way with the iPad. Now, I've watched several YouTubes on how to do it with the Mac, and they say, minimize your app, your iMovie, and then you can drag and drop the picture in, but on an iPad you can't do 2 apps at the same time, so I can't drag and drop it in. So if anybody knows how to do that, let me know. But in the meantime, I'll just insert the pictures the only way that I know how. I think Peyton might be able to show me later on. She might know how to do it on the iPad, on iMovie. But anyway, long way to say, we have this giveaway, and 2 through 73, and the winner was number 16, LMECOLL, Linda, LME Cole, MLE Cole. Congratulations. PM me with your information so I can get this mailed to you. And everybody for your comments. I have a few notes on some new segments we might try, and some different things we might do, and we might open some threads and ask you some more questions or whatever. But thank you guys very much for all the input and everything that we did with that.
We really do want input, because we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. I mean, we don't.
I'm not even sure that we're flying like that.
We don't even know what we're doing. We have no idea what we're doing, but
we've wanted to do this for so many years that we just decided to bite the big one and do it. So,
and I enjoy doing it.
I enjoy doing it,
and we've
too.
gotten really good, feedback from people, and I've got some, like Lisa from the Fiber Nymph that I work. She sent me a message today, and she said that she really enjoyed our mine and your
rapport.
With each other, and you
our
can
banter
tell
and how we go back and forth. Yeah,
and she said that she wanted to tell me that she agreed with me on shopping. She said that she feels the same way. And I thought, I knew we got a lot. I knew her and I had stuff. We had a lot in common. But
so I'm the same way with shopping.
We do appreciate the feedback, because we do want to make it interesting and fun to watch, and not just be the same thing every time. So, but
how about we go over some whips, because we actually have some whips being modeled.
No, these are finished objects.
Finished objects.
Losing my mind.
So,
finished objects.
Okay, so I have 2. The first one is, Peyton, will put your hat on. This is the Ricky hat that I made out of Undead yarn by Heidi from Undead Yarn. And this,
it is cute.
And it just fits her just perfect. And I finished, I really worked hard on these yesterday to get them finished, because I knew Peyton was going to be here, so I wanted her to wear them. And the next one, if you can stand up, honey. The next one is the next one is the Simone cardigan. Now I have to complain just a little bit about this sweater. This sweater, it looks adorable on Peyton, and it fits Peyton exactly the way the pattern says it should fit an adult. Let me sit down, honey. And it's supposed to be a bulky, oversized sweater. And I made this for my oldest granddaughter, Kagan. Kagan is about a small, average woman size. You know, she's Kagan put this on, and it fit her like a fitted sweater. Okay, Kagan is 15. Peyton is 9 years old. This pattern is written terrible because the sizing of it just doesn't work. Doesn't work. So now I've got to make Brinley one, and I'm going to make Brinley's the same way I made Peyton's.
Small. Brinley's her other granddaughter.
Yeah, and she's 11, but she's about Peyton's size. But I've got to figure out how to make it big and bulky the way it fits Peyton to fit Kagan, because
it's
this is the way
Kagan. It's meant to be a bulky
Kagan.
sweater.
It is, and it's women's sizes. It's small, medium, large, and extra large women's sizes, not child sizes. So I'm really frustrated by such a simple pattern not doing what it's supposed to be doing.
And the pattern's only purchasable by the kit.
Yeah.
And the kit's not cheap. So, you know, for it to be as expensive as it is, and then just not be what you're thinking that it's going to be, is a
I'm
little
thrilled that
frustrating.
Peyton got a sweater out of it, because Peyton is the most knit-worthy person in my family. So, well, besides her mother,
Besides her mom.
besides Shyla. But it's just frustrating that, you know, Kagan Joe asked me to make this for her, and it's been like such an... I remember when Carrie and I picked the pattern out, it was like, this is going to be so fast.
And
this
easy.
thing is going to go fast and easy, and it has been neither fast nor easy because I've ripped it out like 3 times, and...
I am making Pages in the large. Paige is not an adult large, and I'm making it in the large. And I'll be honest, because of all the problems that Darlene's gone through, I really haven't worked that much more on Pages. When she comes tonight or this afternoon to get Antonio, I'll measure it on her again and try and maybe pin a front or something to it and see if I need to just rip the whole thing out and start over.
I will tell you, Carrie, on it, I tried to like seam it together with a different yarn, like a Knit Picks, a thinner yarn. You could see it. It looked terrible.
So you have to
use it with this,
the thick yarn,
which makes everything smaller, because that seam is, well, I mean, look how thick.
Oh, I see it. I see the seam right here.
Pull your arm. Yeah.
I'll take some pictures.
Yeah, here's the seam. Look how thick. How much you're losing an inch in that seam.
Yeah, you are. You're losing quite a bit.
So, unless somebody knows a different way to seam it, but every seam on it, the arm seams, the shoulders, and the side seams, you're losing an inch.
Now, did you do it different up here at the top? Did you
I Kitchenered the top together.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I was thinking of doing that too.
Yeah.
And the pattern you bind off and then seam it together.
But yeah, I did Kitchener the shoulders, which worked pretty good.
So mine's just kind of hanging out while Darlene struggles with all the frustration, and then I can benefit from her frustration and struggles.
It has been very frustrating, but Peyton got a sweater and she likes it, so
and that's great.
you know that's great.
That is great.
And I still need to figure out how to make the original kid that wanted one.
What it was meant for.
Yeah, a sweater. So, but that's all my whips. But I was like excited.
FOs. See, I messed you up. I'm sorry.
I have 2 FOs, and usually I don't have that many. So that's
They're
okay,
great.
Peyton.
They're great FOs. They're great FOs. I have a couple of FOs. They're not as fabulous as Darlene's FOs.
Yes, they are.
So, first, Paige texted me the other day, and she has a client that's been her client. Paige is a barber. She has a client that's been her client for 3 years, and she sent me a picture of the cutest baby. And said, my client's wife just had a baby boy. Can you make a navy blue hat for the baby to wear?
Oh my
winter?
gosh,
So,
it's so tiny.
Cute.
it is tiny, and I think I'm going to make a second one, for more of the winter. I'm pretty sure the baby's going to outgrow this pretty quickly. But, we were supposed to be in the 60s this morning, and we are not in the 60s. I don't know if that cold front is still coming or not, but I thought, she might want to give it to him just, when you have a newborn baby and it's the winter, or, I mean, it's not winter, but, it gets just a little cold out there and it's your first child, you kind of, want to keep him covered. So this was so
cute.
fast.
That
so
is
fast,
really
but
cute.
Thank you. And then I finished Paige's
Oh,
dishcloths.
those are awesome.
These were not fun to knit. I'll be completely honest. And I'll insert some pictures that I take. It's just the kitchen cotton for me. It just hurts my hands. There's nothing wrong with the pattern. There's nothing wrong with making them. Paige loves them. The pattern is free on Pearl Soho. They've got about three different ones, and she picked this last one, and that's the one that she wanted. It's all mosaic. It's all slip stitches. You're just using one color at a time. There's no 3 stitches in light gray, 2 stitches in dark gray, 3 stitches.
Well, they turned out great.
No threading, no stranding of the yarn or anything. I'm pretty sure she loves them. Now, when you finished up here, you were supposed to go down and do an attached I-cord, and then start back down here and come up with an attached I-cord, and then come across here and do something. And I started to do that, and it was a big pain. And I just don't think that Paige would have cared that much if it had an I-cord on the side, and I just didn't think it gave it that much greater of a look for the efforts of doing this applied I-cord or attached I-cord or whatever it's called. So I didn't do that, and I just
I think they turned out great. I like them.
So I'm pretty sure she's gonna love them.
Has she seen them yet?
She saw the first one, and I told her she was ready to take it, and I told her you can't take it until I show them on the podcast, and then you can have them. So she'll get to take them tonight. And so I'm glad they're done, because my hand was really starting to hurt.
I bet.
I finished one while we were in New Mexico, and I finished the other one this morning. So they haven't even been washed.
Good job.
But, thank you. Thank you. So you want to go with whips since you're whipping?
Yeah. I started a new hat. Hats for me, I think, are kind of like socks for most normal knitters. But I don't enjoy knitting socks, but I do enjoy knitting hats. And one reason I enjoy knitting hats is because Peyton and Shyla wear them all the time. I mean, they love hats, so I like making them hats. So I started a new hat last night. It's called the Alvear, A-L-V-E-A-R-E.
Alvear?
Alvear.
It's by Woolly Wormhead?
Yeah, it's
I'll have a link in the show
Yeah.
notes.
And it really looks small. I'm doing the size 22, but I'm knitting it out of the Lolo Did It Helping Hippo DK. And it looks kind of small. I know it's hard to tell if a hat's small when it's on a 16-inch circular, but if it is a little bit small, then this one will be Peyton's, and I'll make Shiloh another one. But I try to make Shiloh hat and then Peyton hat and then Shiloh hat and then Peyton hat. So this one technically is
For Shiloh.
Shilah's, but it could end up being Peyton's. But
depending on how
it's
is.
really similar to the one she's got on, but
Even if it was Mama's, it'll still be mine also.
okay.
Yeah, they share.
They do share.
We do.
Now, this is the yarn that both of us got, and I have enough of this yarn to make my Portage cardigan that I am dying to start, but I haven't started yet. It's a lot brighter than I thought it would be, but
It's really bright, and
I still love it.
I brought my this is what I'm making portage out of.
This is Madeline Tosh DK in the Cosmic Silver colorway, which is also gray with splashes of color. Just the splashes of color are much smaller than these bright splashes.
And if you do
of color.
decide that you want to not, if you want to get something more toned down, because I mean, now that's bright for you. When I started that hat last night, I thought, oh, that kind of worried me because it is so bright.
Yeah, I'm usually not that.
Sure, usually
I usually
not that
don't
bright.
step that far
But
out.
if you do decide you want to get something more toned down for your portage, I'll buy some of this from you to make her a sweater or something.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
you won't be
great.
stuck with 15 skeins of it. But
Yeah, tons of it.
so,
Oh,
but
thank you.
would you like a sweater or something made out of that? I mean,
She's like, well, sure.
I mean, Peyton likes bright colors. Whenever I saw this, I thought, wow, that is bright, and Carrie is not a bright,
I'm not.
a bright colored girl. So, anyway,
I mean, I like bright colors. I just don't like that much of
but
it.
a hoe sweater,
Yeah,
like
that
you know,
much of it. So,
so.
but I'll have to decide.
Yeah.
I'll have to see.
But this is my first whip. So,
Okay, we're back. Sorry. So my first whip is the socks that I'm working on. So I think I was knitting on this last podcast, and like Darlene says, hats to her, like socks to others. And I just love the mindlessness of them. But I got one heel put in on this one. I went ahead and cut in the afterthought heel so I would know where it goes, and then I can just keep knitting straight up with the black and white until I feel they're high enough. I have enough red to still do the heel over here, and then maybe even some, I think the heel is going to go right here, so I'm just about 2 stitches or so, 2 color rows or so above where the heel goes. And
I like those.
yeah, I can cut those in. So that's my first whip.
So my next one is, I promise someday I'm going to finish this and y'all won't have to see it all the time. But
That Sunday's not today.
No, it's not today. I don't know if was I done with the back last time? Okay, so, those are sleeves. Sleeves are done.
Sleeves.
So I finished the back of Shannon's sweater.
Sorry we can't come any closer, but I will take a picture of it.
I can like, if you need me to.
I'll go up there.
But, and
Don't take too much to walk.
so then I started the front, the right front. And I'm a little bit behind now because of my finger. I should be, I'm a day and a half behind on my schedule, but still doing pretty good.
It's not bad. I'll have it upside down.
So the back and the sleeves in the back are done, and the front, that one front is a little less than half done, but I'm hoping that I can finish maybe the one front in the next week and then get started on the other front. So it's coming along.
The other front started, just the ribbing, right?
Yeah, the ribbing in one row of the chart.
Yeah.
So
My second whip is a pot holder for Paige. I started one pot holder for Paige. I think it's over here. Out of this yarn, and it's just too thin. This is going to get ripped out. It's just too thin. I would have had to make 2 and then put them together and then slip stitch all the way around, and that's just too much effort for me. So a friend of mine in Florida made me a few pot holders last year, and she told me what pattern that she used, and those are the pot holders that Paige uses here at my house, and she says, I want some of these. So I'm doing the same pattern, and it's much thicker. You kind of go down one side and you go on, it's a free pattern. You go through the back post of the row that you're currently on and then the back post of the row below it, and then you go across. And you keep doing that. So this is the top, and I'm not even halfway done. Because crochet is not my jam, but
that yarn is so pretty. I really like that yarn.
It's pretty.
so anyway, so I have those. And that friend of mine, she said that she'd be happy to make Paige some of the pot holders, so I might have a little bit of yarn headed her way.
That would be awesome.
Paying her some money and crochet these pot holders for me, so
Heck yeah.
I don't have to.
That would be great.
Yeah.
So I was walking through Walmart the other day. I had to go buy some, I don't know what I had to go buy. I had to go buy something. I think I had to go buy thread or something. And I was walking by this yarn thing at Walmart, and it was Line Brand Mandela. Is that how you say it?
Probably.
Mandela. Yarn, Line Brand Mandela yarn. And I just thought that it was so pretty. So I grabbed a couple of skeins of this one, and I started a corner to corner crochet blanket.
That looks
That's
great.
cute.
And I'm just using the size H hook by Boyd. I just grabbed it while I was at Walmart. I mean, this whole project was like $6. But I don't know how many of these I can get. I want to make it not a gigantic blanket, but like one I can use in the living room, or Peyton can use or whatever. But it's been kind of fun to do. So this really saved me from when I hurt my finger. So
have one more whip. Well, I have tons of whips. And a lot of the comments that people made about, what to do and what they love and the whole 9 yards, a lot of you said to show any long time whips, or if you've forgotten about a whip, or, something sitting in timeout, or you started it and whatever. And I have some of those, so to show later. So it's not really my last whip. It's my last whip I'm showing right now. And it's my dad's Ranger. It has not received a lot of love, but because I just finished Paige's dish towels today, this is the next thing that's going to be getting the love that it deserves. I put it on a really long cord so I could put it around Jaime and see if it would fit my dad, and it looks like it's going to work. My gauge is a little bit off, but I also went, that's the back side, I also went up a size on the pattern. And then the only other thing I've done is I started one of his sleeves. The ribbing's not even done. On a little 12-inch circular, so I'll finish the ribbing and then do the pattern on that. But this is what's about to get my, hopefully, undivided attention, with the exception of, the pot holder and the socks. So.
And then my next one is also my Ranger for my husband. My gauge is way off, and I'm really worried about it. I signed up for an Etsy class on how to do gauge and all kinds of crap, and I'm so frustrated I just could scream. But I'm really worried that it's going to be too small. But so I may start it over.
Do you have a longer cord you can put it on?
I'd have put it on.
Oh, you have. Okay.
Yeah, and it wraps around Bruce, all except that it likes about this much before it touches around him. Like if I put it around him, it don't touch in the front.
And is that stretched at all or not stretched at all?
I'm not pulling on it,
mm-hmm.
So, but it's been frustrating. So I have that. And,
do you have any other whips? I don't have any more.
Yeah, I have a blanket that I want to make Casey for Christmas, my son, for Christmas, a crochet blanket. So,
oh wow, that looks great.
I need to try to get this finished by Christmas. We draw names for the adults in our family. The kids, we don't draw names, but we draw names for the adults. And I got Casey's name this year, so I want to make him this blanket.
This is super soft.
It is. I love Burnett blanket.
Does Uncle Casey watch the podcast?
No, I doubt it. If he does, he knows he's getting a blanket.
Yeah.
But I would be surprised if he did.
Is that a magic blanket?
It's one. It'll be just like Tim's, only it's going to be red and tan and brown and this color. So
it'll be great.
And then my only other one that I have gave some attention to this week is I think I'm in the middle of a row, is my Find Your Fade. I'm about ready to start the lace section on my 5th color.
I think you got a snap.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh, great. So, and it's in the middle of the row, but I really want to get this finished soon. But it just kind of gets the back seat to other things.
Just 2.5 colors left.
I know. I'm really excited about it. We have a lady that we work with that she just finished her first Find Your Fade, and that thing is so gorgeous. It kind of made me want to get back to
yours.
To mine.
To yours. Nothing like seeing somebody else's to make you want.
And hers is just. It is. She just did the best job picking her colors out.
She really did.
She really did.
Yeah.
So,
it looked really great.
It's beautiful.
I might even have a picture of hers that I can put in the podcast.
You should. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So.
So like I was saying a minute ago, I guess I'll show maybe just a couple of these old whips. I was going through all the responses. I mean, I read them as they were being responded, but I was kind of going through all of them when Darlene was already on her way here, so I didn't have a chance to text her and say, bring some old whips. So I'll show mine, and then maybe next time she can bring, a few of hers to show. So Darlene and I started a cardigan for ourselves 2 years ago.
I was just thinking, which one is that? I was just thinking about that this morning.
It's called Naima, Naima. It is a paid for pattern, but
And I want to finish that.
I'll put a link in the show notes. I know I can't zoom this any closer.
It's pretty.
But and I have a whole whopping neck piece done. I think that's starts right here around the collar is where it starts, and then I start going down and increasing and dividing for sleeves or something. I don't even remember what I do.
We need to finish those because we would wear those. Mine's
I think
green.
we would wear them a lot. Darlene's is green. We're doing them both with Volmaiza blend,
which has cashmere in it.
It's
just
and
fabulous.
mine's in the tandoori masala colorway, and hers is green is so green, I think. Grün is so grünt. But that's 2 years ago, I think we started that.
And it seems like we only work on them when we go to the October retreat, and we're fixing to go to in a couple of weeks.
We are
so
fixing to go.
Maybe
to
we should take them again.
Take them again, and so we've gone on 2 retreats with them. We started them 2 years ago in 2015, and then we worked on them last year. And now we'll work on them again this year. And if we only work on them at the retreat, they might be done by 2045.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, but
We do need to finish them because I love that pattern, and I
really enjoy it.
I think it would
too.
be a fantastic sweater.
It's just one of those things, where you're like, oh, look, something shiny and new. Let me put this away
Exactly.
and, do something else. So
Exactly.
I have a hat that I started for Paige probably 3 years ago. And it's a super simple pattern. I'm just not a thinker. I don't like lace and thinking. So
What hat is it? What
I
pattern
don't
is
even
it?
know if it's going to end up getting frogged because it's called Autumn Gold.
That's so cute.
I'll link it in the show
Yeah, I might
notes.
have to make that for
That is
Shiloh.
pretty.
See, it's so old, Darlene doesn't even remember when
I
I started
don't.
it. So, that's the wrong side. And I should, I could probably finish this today if I just sat
It's
down and
fingering
worked
though,
on it.
right?
It is fingering. It's Madeline Tosh. No, it's Malabrigo sock. Tisanio red, I think is the colorway. And I like it, and I know she'll wear it, and it's about to be, colder, and she wears hats. She's just a little pickier than Shyla and Peyton are.
Yeah.
If she doesn't like the pattern, she's going to be like, yeah, that's not happening. So I make sure that she picks the pattern before I make a hat for her. But so that's an old one that hopefully I can finish soon. Maybe finish it or frog it, I don't know. And then this next one I think is going to get frogged. It's a poncho that I started. And I think the reason I haven't frogged it yet is because the cast on was so hard. And while I don't think that I'm going to make it, I don't think I'm going to finish it and make this poncho, the cast on was so hard I just kind of don't want to frog it. It's an I-cord cast on, and it's an I-cord cast on of 11 billion stitches that took
It was like 380
forever.
stitches or something. It's a lot.
forever. It's called a knotted poncho, or chain poncho. Knotted chain poncho, and I'll link it in the show notes. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't zoom this, but it's a gorgeous poncho that's really just plain stockinette with this really cute chain looking thing down the side that's made with cables. And the reason that I think it's going to get frogged is because I also started a yoga shawl by Andrea Mowry, and they're just a
When
little.
did you start that?
I think I started it before Susie started hers.
Really?
As soon as we found the pattern, I think I pulled out a Volmaiza lace in the gray and just got started. So, and that one hasn't seen any love either. It's another one of those, started it and put it away type of things when you get the itch to start something. So I don't know if I'm going to have the guts to frog this. I might just have to send it home with Darlene one day and say frog it because I just can't bear to watch it. But I don't know. It's either going to be the yoga shawl or this one. But I don't think I'm going to make both because they're both very poncho-ish.
Yeah.
And they're both gray, about the same grayish color. So I just have to decide which one I want to do and keep. So that's it for our whips and our some old whips, and hopefully we'll have Darlene bring some old whips next time so she can show some of hers and decide frog it or finish it.
So this is the next sweater that we're going to do. This is Portage. It is a paid for pattern, and we're going to start this. I don't know when, but we're both dying to start it.
As soon as she finishes Shannon's sweater and we have that big Shannon sweater finishing party, then we're casting on this.
And I'm making mine out of Madeline Tosh Cosmic Silver. And I just think it's so pretty.
It is a beautiful colorway. There's somebody that made a Portage in Cosmic Silver, and the Portage it's just gorgeous on that lady. I don't know who she is, but it's a beautiful.
And Portage has a honeycomb panel all down the back.
Mm-hmm.
So
with cables.
It's going to
be. It's really, really pretty.
It is.
And I'm supposed to be doing mine in this colorway that she's making the hat with. So I'll make a decision to either do it or look for some other yarn in stash or get something else. I'm not sure, so we'll see.
Because this is pretty bright. I just would hate to see you make.
It's a big effort. I mean, I'm an extra large, so it'll be a big sweater like 20.
I mean, because that is
2,200 yards. So I need to make sure that I'm in love with it before I put that much effort into it.
I mean, some of these colors in this are pretty neon.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do love it though.
I mean, I think
and
it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful yarn. I just it just screams bright.
Mm-hmm.
So
It does scream bright.
But we have an announcement. Well, a couple announcements, but am I jumping ahead of what
No,
you had,
I had nothing.
Well, I just was looking at my notes and I saw Carrie from The Creative Obsession, and she lives in Oregon. She also has a podcast, The Creative Obsession. She's doing a really beautiful special yarn color skein, and I sent Carrie the picture last night so she could put it in the podcast.
Insert it right here.
25. It's called. It is called "Come Together." Is the name of the yarn, and it's 25% of the sales will go to the fire victims in California. They're all like struggling right now. So, if anybody wants to help with that cause, just go visit her shop. And the color is really gorgeous. Whenever I saw that last night, I thought, now this is what Carrie ought to make her portage out of.
Oh, really?
Because I mean, it is just gorgeous. The yarn is just gorgeous. But so I wanted to put that out there. So if anybody wanted to help with that fundraiser, then to please go visit Carrie's shop.
It has been terrible. My uncle's daughter actually lost her entire house.
Oh my gosh, really? Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, my Aunt Natasha and Jim, they're in New Zealand right now. They usually travel the United States in this big A-class RV. They're both retired, and they're from Calistoga, California, and they're in New Zealand right now. They rented a little RV in New Zealand, and they're traveling all through New Zealand. But my Uncle Jim heard from his daughter Michelle that they lost their whole house.
I'm so sorry. That's terrible.
It is terrible. And they're to be in New Zealand right now when that happens to your daughter, and you can't really can't just jump on a plane and run home, when you've had something like that planned for so long.
That's awful.
Mm-hmm. So.
Well, did you have any stash enhancements this week?
I did, and I was going to say, speaking of Carrie, from the Creative Obsession now, we told you guys last podcast that a collaboration, and I'm sorry, these are sold out. They sold out less than 24 hours. But it was called Slothmas. This is the yarn that Carrie dyed, and this is the bag that Darlene made, and I'll put a picture in here. Because it's just little sloths hanging off a tree with holly all around, and Carrie pegged the yarn perfect. These are going to be socks. I don't know when I'm going to cast on, but I love the kit, and it was fabulous. And to any of you who were able to snag one, congratulations, because it's just, it's the greatest kit ever.
Thank you so much. Well, Carrie was super, super nervous about it. I was a little bit nervous, but I wasn't as nervous as Carrie.
I was not nervous.
And
I kept telling her, it's going to sell out. It's going to sell out. It's going to sell out. I got to get mine first, so you need to tell me, when it's going to go.
And she did.
Uh-huh.
And Carrie has the yarn listed in her shop now, and she also has coordinating heel and toe yarns if you buy it from her shop.
Slothmas.
Slothmas, and it's called Slothmas in her shop. And I am going to have the bags in my shop. I just haven't listed them because I need to get some more of the holly inside material.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I will have them available in my shop for a little while. So
That's my only stash enhancement.
And my only stash enhancement was just the yarn for Portage, my Cosmic Silver. Madeline Tosh. And that was all of that. But, so.
Well, I think that's all we have for regular podcast stuff. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving us all the feedback and coming back to see us every time. We're going to go over a couple of bags that Darlene's going to be showing in her shop now. So for those of you that want to bow out, again, thanks for checking us out, and bye. We'll see you.
Bye. And thank you for joining us, Peyton.
You're welcome.
So the first one is the only Thanksgiving bag I'm going to have, and it's just got pretty sunflowers on it, and it's got some cornucopias in the background, and some
I don't even know
tonal.
what a cornucopia is.
It's that thing that looks like a horn that you put fruit and stuff in.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Okay.
So
Show you how uneducated I am. I don't know what a cornucopia is. I will
show
insert
this one.
pictures. I'm sorry I can't zoom these in. So I will, I promise.
and this next bag is called the Carrie. And it's called the Carrie because I got this material from Carrie, the Creative's Obsession.
Mm-hmm.
And I only have 4 of these left in the shop. Here, Carrie. I only have 4 of these left in the shop. And so if you want one, you better get one, because when it's gone, it's gone. I think this was, I don't know where she got the material. I don't even know if I could get any more of it, but.
I forgot to show the inside of this one.
And then the next one is a Christmas bag, the Nutcracker. And it's just the Nutcracker.
Now, this has a French horn on it. It's not a cornucopia. It's just a French horn. I know what that is. It's got candy canes inside of it. Cute candy canes.
I think I forgot a couple.
I think this is,
And
these
then
last two.
So then this one is, I love this one. It's got a goldfish that has a Christmas tree, and another goldfish that has a palm tree, I think, and the mouse and the dogs and everybody's wearing Christmas sweaters. And
Or Santa hats.
Or Santa hats. I just think that it's so cute.
Green polka dotted inside. It's a super cute bag. Pictures somewhere along here.
In my class, actually bought this one.
Really? And so the next one is, y'all remember the
Halloween
guinea pigs? Well, now we have Christmas guinea pigs.
Christmas
They are
pigs.
celebrating the season. So
Yeah. And those Halloween ones sold out super fast.
They did.
So if you want a Christmas
They did.
one, better jump on
yep.
it.
And it also has candy cane stuff on the inside. And I had one more, and I must have forgot it, but it was reindeer wearing.
Oh, and I loved that one.
Can't really-
Sweaters.
can you put a
I'll
picture
put a
of it?
picture. I'm putting pictures of all of this in. Probably her Instagram pictures will get inserted here.
It's got a black background, and it's got reindeer wearing Christmas knitted hats and Christmas knitted sweaters. It's really cute.
It is a really cute bag. It's really cute.
And I even counted them this morning because I thought I had 5 or 6. I guess I just didn't grab one of them when Peyton and I were getting things ready.
If it had made it here, I would probably have hid it anyway, so you couldn't have taken it home.
Maybe, probably.
But that's all. So it was a pretty big shop update this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's my Christmas update. So once they're
gone, they're
gone.
gone.
So,
all right, that's all we have. Peyton, thanks for coming.
yes, thank you, Peyton.
Thanks again for checking us out and staying this long. And we'll see you in 2.5 weeks. No, 3 weeks. We forgot to say that earlier in the other one before we did the update, because we are going on that knitting retreat in 2 weekends. So 3 weekends is when we will podcast next. I'll try and put a note in the show notes in case you didn't watch this far, so everybody else knows. But
and we had a one of the suggestions on some of the notes that were from our viewers that to do some kind of knit along or crochet along or do something. So Carrie and I'll put some thought into that and see,
And if you want something or you've got some ideas, then reply in the show notes.
Please do.
Yeah, reply in the show notes.
We may not be able to start that until maybe after the first of the year because it is getting...
But maybe it'll take that long to prep or whatever.
So,
maybe we'll make it a big one or something with some great prizes.
So let us know. Give us your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And do we have a giveaway for this time? I guess we don't, do we?
We don't. But that doesn't mean we won't be able to think of something up for next time.
Yep.
So
thank you all very much. And we will see you in 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.